It's been quite a while since we've had a large storm system to track across the US, but it looks like we're finally going to see one as we head into next week. The system entering into the West Coast is going to continue spreading across California and eventually the rest of the western US before developing into a large, robust, and impactful storm for next week. This storm will cause some big travel headaches with widespread heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, and even some potentially dangerous severe weather in the south, and then even followed by some cold air. In this forecast, I'll break down all the details so you know what to expect. First off, let's take a look at the forecast timing. As the storm moves into California today, you're going to notice another area of moisture currently over Arizona. You can see this clearly over the latest radar data. Over the course of today, you're going to see more rain and mountain snow spread across the west, but that other little area of moisture that was over Arizona is going to be accelerating into the Four Corners. This is because it's going to get caught up in the subtropical jet stream, which will help it move along faster. By Sunday, this small piece of energy will reach the southern plains, and that will spark our first round of storms, and that will also serve as the genesis for our major storm system. As this occurs, a big Pacific storm will be overspreading Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, as well as other surrounding states. By Sunday evening into the night, we're going to see this Pacific storm system lose its punch over the Rockies, and this is because the moisture is going to get ringed out over the mountains. But despite this system losing its punch, our other system, which has already started over the Central Plains, is going to continue gaining traction. On Monday, we're going to see an increasingly large cyclone centered over Oklahoma and Kansas, and then watch what happens as we get into the evening. An explosion of strong to severe storms occurs from East Texas into Dixie Alley. This is probably going to be one of the more concerning aspects of the system that we need to watch for. Once we get into Tuesday, this is when things get a lot more uncertain among the models. The more likely scenario is going to be a robust storm system advancing northeastward, with widespread heavy rain and even additional severe storms for the November 21st into the 23rd timeframe. Lots of models have begun to agree somewhat on some possible snow over the interior northeast, and maybe even some lake effect snow as the cold air sweeps in after. But before we talk about the big blast of cold air, let's take a look at the precipitation totals over the next 5 days. I like using this map since it makes it easier to understand who will see the most rain or snow. As you can see, most of the eastern US can expect a good helping of rain, with up to 2 or 3 inches in the purple. Other areas like parts of the Central Plains, the Four Corners, and the West Coast will all get some rain and mountain snow depending on where you are. On the other hand, places like the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, Florida, the Desert Southwest, and the Southern High Plains are going to miss out on that precipitation. Now for the severe weather potential, we're going to see that start to increase on Sunday, November 19th. The threat is currently only a marginal risk, and this is mainly due to some limiting factors in place. Nonetheless, the primary hazard with these storms that do develop will be large hail. This is going to be a completely different story for Monday, though. As we get closer to this event, we're starting to see more certainty in this being the main severe weather day, which is why we already have a slight risk in effect from East Texas into Mississippi. There is a risk of supercells which could pose a tornado and large hail threat, but I do think that based on model guidance, there will be a tendency for upscale growth into a squall line, which would make the higher threat of damaging winds. We will be monitoring the situation closely for Monday across this region, so please make sure you stay tuned for more information. Now switching back to the wintry side of things. After this system moves through, we're going to see cold air sweep into much of the lower 48. The Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook is already showing some much below normal air across the central and eastern US, with the highest probability of colder air from the plains into the Great Lakes and Northeast. I'll have more details on this cold air blast when models are in better agreement in a future video. And then regarding the snowfall, here are the accumulations we're expecting across the west. The heaviest snow is expected over the Cascades, Sierra Nevada mountains, and parts of the Rockies, especially over Colorado and Utah. Winter storm watches have been issued in parts of Utah with winter weather advisories in the purple across the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada mountains. The snowfall potential as we go forward is uncertain, like I mentioned, but here is the snowfall probability map which I created to help you see where we could see snow. In the blue shade, I think that snowfall is going to be possible with this storm, with generally light accumulations. The darker blue is where I think heavier snow is going to be possible, and this is mainly for the higher elevations in upstate New York into New England. So with this map in mind, if you're concerned about travel impacts and delays, I don't think that wintry weather will be an issue for most people, unless of course you are traveling to or from the areas I showed on the map. I'll have more details as we continue fine-tuning this forecast, so make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss my newest forecast with the latest information. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.